All right, so guys, today, again, systems and inequalities. We're going to break this down into two. We're going to break this down into two parts. All right, the first part today, part 2 tomorrow. Part 2 tomorrow is not that long. It's like one more different type of problem we'll look at tomorrow, so it's not that long. All right, so you already have systems of inequalities on your sheet. You already have that. All right, so first thing we're going to talk about when we do inequalities is going to be setting up that equation. Right, setting it up using that same formula or that same form we talked about last night for homework. Exactly, like Spencer just said, y equals, so inequality needs to be in on your thing. You have the y, you're just going to fill in mx plus b. So on your sheet, you have a couple of blanks. You're going to fill it in perfect. Some people already did, just based on what we did last night. Up above, you guys can see, remember, like Isaiah told me earlier, my m is my slope, my rise over my run, and my b is my y-intercept. I'm going to start at that number on the y-axis. Right? I'm going to start at that number on the y-axis. Understand, though, today, there's going to be no equal sign here. What are these signs for? These different signs. I know it's greater than, less than, but what are they? Those type of problems are called what? Inequalities, right? This would be an equation. If I put those signs in, it'll be an inequality. All right? So that's what we're talking about today again, inequalities. All right? People have this. Guys, enough with the sound effects or you'll be gone. I do not care. Mr. Hager just had a conversation with you guys. If you don't want to learn, that's fine. But don't ruin it for the other people. If you want to go somewhere else and miss out, that's it. You can do that. If you can't handle being in here. All right. So on your thing, you have on your sheet, you have something that says nothing needs to be changed. If the inequality looks like, then it's blank, right? I'm going to give you an example. Mr. Hager and I are going to give you an example of a inequality, all right, that doesn't need to be changed. All right? So,
that is a loss.
Hold on. And we are safe. Okay, guys, keep on going. All right. So guys, listen. The inequality, guys, it's okay. It's out of here now. All right, nothing needs to be changed. Nothing needs to be changed if the inequality looks like this. All right, y by itself with the inequality sign, then your x, and then just your number. Nothing needs to be changed if it looks like that. Nothing at all. So you want to write this inequality down as an example. As long as y is by itself before the sign, you have x after your inequality sign, and then a number, you're fine. All right, so you want to write that down if you don't have it. Reason being, we just talked about, right? It says reason on your sheet, y is by itself before the inequality sign. Y is by itself, and then x is right after the inequality sign. Nothing needs to be changed. You are set to graph. Right? You are all set to graph. All right? Remember, why? There can't be a negative sign here. There can't be a number there. It can't happen. All right? I'll leave this up a little bit so you guys can see. All right. Now, stuff. Something might need to be moved around. Maybe the x, maybe your number, whatever. Stuff's going to need to be changed if the inequality looks like something like this. Say if you had something like that. Negative 5y, right, is less than or equal to 10x minus 20. All right, we're not set the graph in that case. We can't graph that inequality. I know it says y on your sheet, but someone tell me, why can't I graph this? Why don't I set the graph? Say on.
Y isn't by itself.
Y is not by itself, right? What's with y? Negative 5, right? So, like, say Vaughn just said, y has a number attached, so divide everything by that number attached. All right? You're going to divide everything attached by this everything attached to y, you're going to divide it by everything. So I'm going to divide everything by negative 5. Not just this, everything. All right? We're going to divide everything in the problem by the number attached to y. All right? You already have that written on your sheet. Next kind. Or you might get something like this. 2x plus 4y is less than, remember this is a less than sign, is less than 6. Now, one of the last ones we did on the homework that we just did was kind of like this. What did we have to do? Will, if you had something like this, what would you do? He'd subtract, Will says subtract the x. All right, where are you going to move it to? After the inequality sign, then what would your next step be? Divide everything by 4 because that's the number attached to y, right? There's an x before the inequality sign with y, so move x. You're going to do the opposite operation, then divide everything by that number with y. That's a two-step, right? Because x is on the wrong side, we're going to move it, then divide by y. Divide by the number with y. Last one. Or, last one, we got, what's this say? Can someone tell me what this says? Right, if it's eating, right, if it's pointed this way, if it's eating, whatever side it's eating, that means greater than, right? 3x greater than 9 minus y. Reason being here, y is on the wrong side of the inequality sign. All right, we're going to do the opposite operation. So it's negative here, I'd add it over here. Then, if there's a number attached to y, divide everything by that number. Or, what you could have also done here too, guys, you could have just flipped it. Could have just flipped it around. You could have made it like something like this. You could have made it like 9 minus y. Could have done something like that. You could have done something like that too. Then you would have had to flip-flop these two things. I would have added 9 and moved it over here. I would have subtracted 3x and moved it over there. Would have just flipped those two things around. Then it would have been y. Actually, no, I'm sorry, I lied. I saw Mr. Hager's face. All I'm gonna do is x is already in the right space. I'm sorry. X is already there. I'm just gonna move this over here. So it'll be y 3x plus 9. After I rearrange. You guys don't have to write that on there. I'm just showing you how it would work. All right. So those are some different examples. So you got to make sure, just like we did when we did slope, just like we did when we did inequalities a couple months ago, you've got to make sure it's in slope-intercept before you start the graph. If it's in slope-intercept, fine. Go ahead. You're all set. All right. Now we get to the graphing part. What we just did before is making sure it's in the right format so I can graph. Now comes the graphing part. And some of this stuff, guys, might seem a little bit familiar because we talked about it before. All right, so we get to the graphing part. Here's my regular case. Like if I had something like up here. All right, I have a y, I have my inequality sign, my number with x, and then just a number. Here's my regular cases. So I got this. I got, on your thing you already have inequality sign of the problem, boundary line, and shade. So we're getting to the fact of, okay, is it going to be a dotted line? Is it going to be a solid line? And where do I shade? All right? So if I have something like this, if I got, what does this say?
Less than.
That's less than, right? If it's a less than in the problem, you're going to use a dotted line and you'll shade below it. You're going to shade below that line. Or you're going to shade below it. Yeah, but again, I don't know. I'm not sure how much you guys remember of it. We did it back like before, like February break. So like 2 months ago. All right. So I'm not. Mr. Hager and I didn't expect you guys to remember this. All right. So I got a less than dotted below. Next. What's this say? Less than or equal to, right? So I got less than or equal to, solid line, but still shade below. So if it's whether it's less than or equal to, I shade below. But the type of line will be different. All right? Tyler, what's this say? What's that mean?
That's the opposite of the first one.
So this is less than, greater than, right? Dotted line. So whether it's less than or greater than, I'm going to use a dotted line. And I'm going to shade above. It's greater than, right? It has more. It is more. You're going to shade above. All right, Tyler, question?
I know what the next one is.
All right, tell me the next one.
Greater than or equal to.
Greater than or equal to? Oh, guys, that's got screwed up. It's supposed to be solid, guys. I don't know why it didn't show up. That's going to be a solid line.
Label of Hager.
And we're going to shade above. All right? So, everybody's got that? Again, we're going to have examples today, but I wanted to put the examples on a separate sheet so you guys could use this as a reference when we're doing it. All right? Then right next to it, you're going to have your special cases. Like y less than or equal to 3, something like that. We're going to get to that right now. So here's my special cases. You guys already have this stuff written on there because it's a lot to write, and for the sake of time, I just wanted to have it on there. All right? So we got type of special case. We got y only, no x. No x. My line is going to be horizontal, going across. Mr. Hager, is there anything you wanted to add to that?
I think just to shade either to the right or to the left for the vertical case.
Okay, so we got this one, and then we got x only. Here's an example, right? There's no y in it. My line's going to go up and down. Mr. Hager?
So I think the reason we have to mention something special here is because Mr. Royce said either shade above or below. But when you have a vertical line, does above and below make sense?
No.
No, it's either left or right. So which way is greater? To the right,
Right.
or to the left?
All right.
To the right. All right. So if you have either greater than or equal to, shade right. Okay. This is a special case with when you only have x. Greater than or equal to, shade right. Less than or equal to, less than, smaller. Which numbers are smaller? Towards the left. Any other case, you can just think above and below,
Yeah.
except when
That
it's
one's up and
vertical.
down. Yep.
Okay.
And then guys, there's some real, the steps you guys can see on your thing, there's only 3 of them. There's not going to be a lot to write. All right, we're going to do those now, then we'll get to the examples for today. And I'll give you guys another sheet with the examples on it. Everybody okay with this? All right, I can go to the next page? Hopefully.
You can try.
All right, so to graph our linear systems. All right, that's what we're talking about today, linear systems. That's what we've been doing. We get the two, instead of having 2 equations, we're going to have 2 inequalities. All right, before we do like substitution, we were doing elimination. Now we're doing linear systems. All right, those inequalities. So my first step, I'm going to make sure, just like we just talked about, make sure both equations have y by itself. I'm sorry, both inequalities. Thank you, Mr. Hager. Make sure both inequalities have y by itself before the inequality sign. Y has to be by itself before the inequality sign. No negative attached, no number attached. No x with it. You gotta move the x to the other side. That's the stuff we just, all of those 3 different things we just talked about, that's what this means. You gotta make sure y is by itself before the inequality sign. That's the biggest thing. Make sure it's set to graph. Make sure it's in that slope-intercept form. Next, I'm going to leave them up there, guys. If you're a little bit behind, that's okay. Next, we're going to graph both inequalities. We're going to graph both inequalities using those charts. The chart we just filled out with the dotted lines, shade above, shade below, based on what the sign is. We're going to, if you need to, some of you guys might just know. Yeah, okay, I'm going to use a dotted line here. Okay, I got a shade above. But some of you guys might not. That's why I put it on a separate sheet. If you need to use that as reference, so be it. All right? So graph both inequalities using the chart that we just filled up. Last thing. This is where it gets a little tricky. This is what's kind of new. Mr. Hager's going to get to this when we do the examples, so don't get freaked out by this. We're going to shade in the region where both, when I'm shading in, where I shade, where that shading overlaps. That's what I want to shade in. That's going to be my answer. Yep, so we're going to shade in the region where the shading overlaps. All right, it may seem like, what the heck? But when Mr. Hager does it, when we do the examples, it's going to make more sense. Okay? Understand? That's your answer. Where the shading overlaps, that's your answer. That's all you have to put. We're not going to make you write any numbers or anything like that. All you have to show on the graph is those two regions overlap. That's all you got to do. We're going to get to one of these today. If there's no overlap, there's no solution. So you might be shading the region up here and shading down here, and they're not overlapping at all. That means there's no solution. All right? So, like I said, this is kind of like the whole overlap thing might be a little confusing right now, but when we do examples, it'll make more sense to you. I'm going to hand those examples up right now, guys.
As Mr. Rice said, we were solving systems before. We used substitution, we used elimination. You're not going to have to solve anything algebraically. All you're going to have to do is draw a line and color above or below. That's all we're going to have to do. Okay, and what I'm going to do is, on the board, I can use different colors, okay, to show you guys where the overlap is. If you don't have different colors in your notes, what you might want to do is hold off before you graph it. Just watch me. And then write down the final answer. Okay? Everybody have what's on the left? Okay. So Mr. Wright just went through the steps on how we graph. Okay. Are these inequalities ready to graph?
Yes.
Yeah, why are they ready? How do you know that?
Y by itself.
Y is by itself. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on the top one first. Pretend like there was an equal sign there and graph it just like there was an equal sign. Okay? Who can tell me my y-intercept in the top one? Marcus?
3.
3. How do I graph that?
Go up 3
Up 3?
on the y-axis.
And then do what?
Then you put a point.
Put a point. Okay, so I got my y-intercept. What's the next number that's important in that top inequality? The what? The 2? And why did you say 2 over 1? That's good. Yeah, so that's my slope. Rise over run. Up 2 over 1. So where do I go up 2 over 1 from? Do I start back at the origin?
No.
No. Start from that point. Okay. Which way am I going? Up 2? Over to the right one. Okay. And if you want to go up 2 over 1, you can do it a couple times to get your line. Now, what kind of line? Solid or dotted? How do we know? Matt? How do you know?
Because the bold ones are
The bold ones are,
for less than or equal to.
yeah, less than or equal to or greater than or equal to. Okay. So there's my line. What's the last step I have to do? Shade. Now this part, before you guys write it on your paper, don't shade yet. All right? Don't shade because I'm going to show you where the final answer is going to be, and that's all I want you to draw on your paper. So you can draw the dotted line, but don't do the shading that I'm about to do. Just watch. Do we shade above or below?
Below. Wait, no.
Look at that inequality, greater than. Above. Okay? So I'm going to shade above. Okay? Just watch this part.
Hey, don't worry about shading yours right now.
Shading everything that's above that line. Again, you don't have to go off your grid, just shade everything that's above. Okay, any questions?
It
on
doesn't
that?
have to be perfect. Mr. Hager and I will get the point of what you're trying to do.
Okay, so again, just, Marcus, just watch this part, because don't shade yet. Okay, so just shade above. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing one more time. Okay, start with this equation. Who can tell me my first step to graph the bottom equation? Savon?
Drop the ball.
Okay, where do I put that?
Up forward. Right.
How do I get there?
It's on the vertical line.
And then where?
Up forward.
Good. Up 4. You know what? So you don't get confused, I'll do it in a different color. Okay, up 4.
Down.
Now, what's my slope? What's
1 over 1. Or negative 1 over 1.
Right, if you don't see a number in front of that x, you can always put in a 1.
All whole numbers a little 1.
Who can tell me now from that red dot? Okay, someone else.
It does not.
Where do you go? Okay, down 1
Left one. What's the right?
to the right 1.
Oh.
So you always go to the right. The only difference is, do you go up or down? Down 1, right 1. Okay, so this is where my line is going to be. Solid or dotted? Dotted. Okay, so I'll fix it and make it dotted. Okay, last step. I got to decide, you know what, let me do it in red so you can see the difference. Let's make it red. Do I shade below that red line or above? Okay, look at that inequality symbol. What's the symbol? It's a less than. What does less than say to do? Below. So we're going to shade everything below the red line. And we're going to get a certain spot that overlaps. And if I did this right, it will change color. Got it. Okay, so shade everything below. Okay, this is everything below that line. Yep, yellow and blue make it green, right? So you get the idea. So now, what did Mr. Roy say to look for? Where the shadings what? Where they overlap. Okay, so when you're sketching this on your paper, the green, that's where the yellow and blue overlapped. Okay, so I'm showing you guys the final answer now. Now you can color that in.
You go in between the two lines, guys. That's all you're gonna color. Just in between the two lines. That's the overlap.
When you have two lines that make an X shape, generally you're coloring in one of the regions of the X. Either the top, the left, the bottom, or the right. This one was the left. Okay, but in an X shape, that's what usually happens. You color in one of the four. Okay. Any question on that? Okay, everyone sees that was the overlap? We're good? Okay, anyone else need to see that any longer? Okay, let's try the next one. Okay, top inequality. Ready to graph or no?
Good.
Yeah.
It's good. Bottom inequality.
Not good
Not good.
at all.
Why? What's not good about it?
There's the X with it and the Y has something attached to it.
Guys, so in that inequality that Mr. Hager just moved, how many steps to get it what you want it to be?
3.
No. It's only gonna be 2. How many steps are there gonna be? 2. Gonna be 2, right? What are the 2 steps, Tyler?
I don't know, that's all I know is there's 2.
Huh?
I'm confused.
Good. Isaiah, perfect. Isaiah just said subtract and divide. Subtract and divide. What's he subtracting, Isaiah?
The 3x.
Good.
How should I write what's on the right-hand side?
It's negative 3x minus 6
Well, what's the sign on the 6?
plus 6.
Plus 6.
There's no sign there, right? So we just assume it's positive.
You always want to put it in that order Mr. Roy said. The number with X, then the number that doesn't have X. Okay, now my last step.
Divide by 2y.
Divide by, the Y is okay, right? We don't want to move that.
Divide by 2.
Just the 2. Some people forget to divide by 2 in all 3 spots. Ryan, how many spots do you have to divide by 2 in? All 3. All 3 spots. Okay, what am I left with? What's my final answer?
Stupid, right?
Sivan, what's my final answer?
Y is less than negative 3 over 2 plus 3.
Forgot one thing.
What? Oh, X
X
plus 3.
plus 3. Good. So now we're going to graph that. And now we're going to graph that. Now it's just like the last problem. Okay, Brian, how do I graph this? Can you tell me all the steps? You're going to go which way? Okay, down 1 and do what there? Put a dot. Good. Now, what are you going to do from that dot? You're going to go up 1 and then which way? Good. Okay, so he didn't tell me to write the numbers in. He was able to do it. That's fine. If you need to put the numbers in, put the numbers in. Up 1, right 1. Just put a couple dots so you can make your line. Ben, what kind of line?
Wait, what did you, oh, wait, dotted.
Dotted? What tells you that?
Because it's not,
It's not an equal to. Okay, so put in a dotted line. Okay, this part you can all do right now.
I can't make lines.
Guys, we need to use your
Your ID.
ID too. You can use your ID side of it, it's straight in.
All right, so rule it.
Okay. Now we got to decide, do we shade above or below? Okay, Sam, is this one above or below? Above. Okay, greater than. Greater than is above.
Mr. Willie?
Okay, so what I would do is don't.
that's dotted, right?
Yeah, it's dotted. Don't shade it in yet. My highlighter doesn't seem to want to work. Can't get the highlighter. We'll just use 2 colors. Shade above. That's above. Okay. Next one. Eli, what's my y-intercept here? Okay, hold on, Eli. We got a couple people that want to talk for a little bit.
I wanted to answer the question.
Okay, I asked Eli, but I'll ask you the next one.
All right,
And you just answered one, so you're doing fine.
all right.
Eli, go ahead, tell me. My y-intercept is 3. How do you graph that? Up 3? Put a dot. Okay. Next step. I have -3/2 as my slope. Justin, what does this -3 over 2 tell me to do? Go down, top number. Down 3. And then what? I'm not sure what you mean. I'm confused. Over
Right, left,
2 to the right.
good boy.
Okay. Go down 3. Over 2. Okay. Connect those green dots with a solid line or dotted. Austin,
Wait, solid or dotted?
which one? Dotted. Okay. Put a dotted line in. Okay, so put that in. Make it dotted. Okay, and I'll make it a different color. Make it blue. Okay, Chelsea, above or below? What is that symbol right there? Less than. What does less than mean on your chart? Look at your chart. Mr. Wright, can you help her find it on her chart? We're looking at Chelsea, trying to find something on her chart. We're looking for less than. Is that above or below? Or shade below. Okay? So I'm going to shade in below, but what I really want to look for is that overlap. Okay, this is everything below the blue line. Where's the overlap?
To the left,
Yeah, in the X shape, in this case, it's to the left.
we're staying on
Okay.
both sides.
Yep, so on yours now, shade in that left-hand shape. Okay, it doesn't always have to be the one on the left.
So, Mr. Hager, something like Austin just asked me, he said, Mr. Roy, like before you had everything kind of shaded, does I have to shade everything? I said, no, only the part where it overlaps. That's all you have to do.
Yeah, somehow you just have to figure out the overlap. Okay? Any questions on that one?
I messed
Mr. Roy,
up.
you wanna do this?
Oh, no, never mind.
Messed up. Fucked up. Okay.
Then we'll do the inside.
All right, guys, I'm not that good with the lines, so you have to bear with me, Mr. Hager. All right, so let's do this. Oh, Raph, come on up here. All right, here we go. Oh, here we go. All right, so, guys, are we, in these two equations, are we good to graph? No, we're not good to graph, right? Again, this one right here, Eli, this one right here, how many steps to get y by itself? Two, right? Because we got x on the wrong, we got x in the wrong spot, and we got a number with y. Over here, Sam Mans, how many steps to get y by itself? Just one, right? Just one. So let's do this one first. Benjamin, what do I got to do first in this one? Use a different color. Okay, so what's the first step? Eli just told me Eli told me before you're gonna subtract. But subtract what? Everybody disagree? Marcus?
Subtract 3y.
No.
No, 9x.
Subtract the 9x, right? Subtract the 9x. I'm gonna bring everything else down, right? I'm gonna bring my 3y down. I'm gonna bring this down, my inequality sign. Justin, what goes after the inequality sign? Remember, what's the form it's going to be? It's going to be y sine. Has to come after the what? Has to come after the sign. All right. Isaiah, you know?
6.
No.
Wait.
Travis.
I'm sorry, just how he answered the same question.
All right. What do you think? What has to go after the inequality sign? Negative 9x, right? Negative 9x. And then what, Isaiah?
6.
Then you're 6. What kind of a 6?
Negative.
No. If there's no sign, you bring it down as a positive. All right? Now, Laura, what am I going to do now to get y by itself? It's a two-step one, right? I had to subtract by 9x. Then my next step will be what? To get y by itself. Divide everything. Why'd you pick 3? Because there's a number attached to y, right? That's going to get y by itself. Divide by 3, divide by 3, divide by 3. Can anybody give me the whole thing? Sign included? Say Vaughn.
Y is negative or greater. What? No, wait.
Are you
Less than or equal to.
Less than or equal to, okay.
You not talking, Isaiah?
Keep going.
Negative 3x
Yep.
plus.
Pause.
Do I need to simplify? All right, it's 2.
Plus 2, right?
I could have said that.
So this one, done. All right, that one's done. Victoria, this one over here, one step. What's the one step to get y by itself? You can do it. -3, perfect. Bring everything else down, right? So we got y. What comes next? What has to come after the sign? 1/3.
1/3 x
And then
minus 3.
-3. That's how I got it over there, right? Huh? That's how I got it over there, right? Now I got to graph him. Mr. Hager, here he comes, the master disaster. All right, so here's my 2, right? Now, Emma, for this one, I'll call this number 1. I'm going to call this number 2. Mr. Hager, just hold off on shading for a second. I'm going to show you guys something else that might work too, that I've seen done in the past. If it works, great. If it doesn't work, that's fine too.
Yeah.
All right, so this, right? This first one, Emma, where am I going to start? 2 where? Y-axis, perfect. I'm going to go right here. Spencer, from that 2 on the y-axis, where am I going to go? I'm calling this inequality 1, inequality 2.
You would go down 3 from the point.
Which way? Nice. Remember, the top, we treat the top as negative, bottom as positive. That means go to the right. Good job, Spencer. 1, 2, 3 over 1. I'll do it one more time. 1, 2, 3. Okay. 1, 2, 3 over 1. You're getting ahead of yourself, Mr. Roy. Mr. Hager, line me. Line it up. Oh, what kind of a line? What kind of a line?
Your line's all. I think it's all.
How many people say dotted? How many people say dotted? Anybody, any brave souls out there?
Wait.
Anybody say solid? Why solid? Because it's got the, again, that's a good way to think of it, Tyra. It's got the line underneath. It's got to be a solid line. Good job. So there's 1, right? Now, with this sign, am I going above or am I going below? What's this saying? Less than, right? Less than or equal to. Am I going above or below? Below. Guys, another way you can think of it, what I do sometimes is, I just draw little arrows. I draw an arrow here, I draw an arrow there. To tell me, so when I get to my shading part, I know that I have to shade below. So you can put arrows on it if you want to remind yourself that you have to shade below. All right?
Yep.
Now, next. KJ, my inequality 2 here. Where am I going to start? Yeah, I'm just calling this we can tell them apart. I'm calling this second one here. -3 where? On the y-axis. 1, 2, 3.
You Spanish?
All right, good. -3. Mr. Fafer, I know, man, I'm sorry.
What's your name?
From there, Justin, where am I going? You can do this. Turn around. What do you think, buddy?
A line.
I know that. But let me help you out. Kayla already said we use -3. We use that. What am I going to use now? So where am I going to go from here? Where am I going to go from here? You can do it. What am I going to use now?
1.
Up, okay. So I'm going to go.
Do blue.
I'm going to. You want blue? Okay.
You are so picky.
So, all right, but you got to tell. I gave you blue. Now you got to tell me, where am I going?
Down 3.
No. Up 1, then which way? Which way, right or left? Which way? No, right. Up 1 over 3. 1, 2, 3. Up 1 over 3. All right. Matthew, what kind of a line? Solid. Solid, right? Good. Ms. Hayes, draw me a solid line. Nice. Now, with that, Savon, am I going to shade for my second one? Am I going to shade above or below?
What is that again? That's the greater than or equal to, right?
Yep.
All right. So about the blue line, right?
Huh?
The blue line, right?
Yep. Am I going to go above it or below it?
Above it.
Above it, right? So I'm going to draw my arrows. Here, here. Here's my 3 arrows, right? What? See, I got arrow right here. The left, like Savon just said, this left area, right?
Which side works?
I got an arrow pointing this way. I got an arrow pointing that way. That's where they're gonna That's where they're gonna overlap.
I'm still confused.
Oh, Mr. Roy?
If the arrows help you, that's fine. Sometimes you might just look at it and say, okay, I'm gonna shade here, I'm gonna shade there. Where are they gonna overlap? There's no easy way that I can tell you guys how to do that as far as figuring out the overlap. You gotta figure out what works best for you. All right?
Not doing it.
I want to ask a question.
Yeah.
I do one of these.
We're gonna give you time at the end. Do one, yes. We're gonna give you some time at the end. We're gonna give you some time at the end to do these. And also tomorrow, we're gonna go through a couple examples, and the rest of the time will be review. All right? So we got one more example to do today. One more. All right? Then we're done. Then we're done as far as doing notes and stuff like that.
All right, so in all those examples we just did, okay, basically anywhere that you shaded, you could pick and say, this is a solution. This is a solution. Any point.
Any order there, any coordinate in that region will work.
Exactly. Mr. Wright just said any coordinate in that region is an answer. Okay? Now, if you draw and there's no overlap, let's see what happens there. All right. So this one, okay? Bottom equation, bottom inequality. Good or no good? Bottom one.
Why not? Wait, no. Yeah,
Bottom
why
one.
not?
Bottom one's good. What's wrong? What's wrong with the top one?
The Y and the X are in opposite places.
Okay, top one we need to fix. Okay, how should we fix it?
It's confusing.
Okay, where should Y be?
On the left side.
Okay, on the left side. So how would we move Y to the left?
Add Y.
You would add Y.
I get right confused.
Okay, step one, write down what we just did. Add Y on each side. So that's good, we got the Y on the correct side, but is the X
Nope.
where it should be? Okay, so how do we move the X to where it should be? Travis? Subtract 2X. Subtract 2X. How should I write this on the right side?
Minus.
Minus what? 2X? What's the sign on the 4? Plus 4. Okay, are we ready to graph now? Yep. Okay, before we graph those, I want you to look at them. What do you notice about them? We have something here that hasn't happened before. What do you notice?
Negative 2x.
They have the same something with the X. What's that number in front of the X?
Visible.
It's negative 2, which represents the what? Slope. What happens if you draw two lines with the same slope? They won't intersect. Okay, so let's see what's going to happen. Okay. Start with your first one. Okay, Isaiah, what's my y-intercept?
It's
Y-intercept.
One.
the negative one.
Negative 1.
Marcus, he says Isaiah.
Okay. Slope.
We didn't answer it right.
How do we go from that point to get to the next point? Which way do I go?
Down 2.
Down 2, which way?
Right one.
Right 1. Down 2, right 1. Okay. Do that a couple times. Solid line or dotted?
Dotted.
Dotted. Okay, this time it's just a less than, so put in your dotted line. Okay, let's do the arrows like Mr. Wright did to shade above or below. Okay, which way? Above or below? About, Sam, can you tell me, is this above or below?
Below.
Below. Okay? So I'm just going to put in my arrows. Let's try to actually draw an arrow. Below. Okay, so now you know it's below. Now, look at this other line. What did we just say? It has the same slope, so that means it's what?
It's not.
Compared to this other line, it's parallel. Okay. So I'm going to take that line. I'm going to make a copy of it. I just have to figure out where it is. Okay. Where's the y-intercept?
4.
It's at 4.
You can't do that.
Yeah, you can't do that. I can. So it's the same slope, just at plus 4. Okay, last question. Where do we shade? Above or below?
Wait, me?
Yep,
Oh.
above. Above. Where's the region where the shading would overlap?
In the middle.
Nowhere. It wouldn't overlap.
You're going to shade below that one and above that one.
It wouldn't overlap.
It's not going to overlap. What does that mean?
I mean, no solution.
No solution.
Make sure you're writing the thing, guys, no solution.
No solution.
Okay, so that example, no overlap, no solution. Okay, no overlap, no
We
solution.
wrote that in the beginning of the notes too.
Question, Matt. Hold on, guys, I'm trying to hear Matt's question.
If we see this the same slope, we still have to draw it down.
Yes, because if these symbols were flipped, you might end up shading between them. Okay? Imagine if it said shade above that one, below that one, you'd shade that strip right in the middle. Those symbols would just have to be reversed. Yep. Okay. Any other questions on that? Sivan? No? We're good?
Never mind, yeah, I got it.
Okay, we're good. Okay, so the homework tonight is going to be a worksheet that's on the board.